Hello, everyone. Quick heads up before we start today's episode. The Global Agile Summit is happening on May the 4th. Yes, May the 4th, and even with a big blowout Star Wars party, you have to join. It will be online, and it's, like always, free to attend. We have 4 tracks this year that I'm really excited about, and I think you will too. Stick around to the end of the episode to know what they are. If you want to check it out already now, you can check it out at bit.ly/Global Agile 26. That's the numerals 2 and 6 at the end. So one more time, that's bit.ly/Global Agile 26. All one word, all lowercase, and 2 and 6 are the numerals 2 and 6. So stick around till the end of the episode and I'll tell you what's in store. But for now, on to today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more episode of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And for this episode in this special Global Agile Summit week, we have joining me Pete, Oliver-Krueger, and Alina Thapliyal. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, Vasco.
So both Pete and Alina have been hosts in past summits. So we'll put the link to the past summits also in the show notes so that you can find them. But today we're going to talk about the Global Agile Summit, which is happening already on May 4th. And be sure to check out the website because there's actually going to be a party. So check it out, get your link and join the party. And today we've got Pete and Alina to talk about why they decided to co-host the People Track. Now, why there's a people track in the Global Agile Summit, there should be no surprise that we need a people track. And of course, we have the best hosts for that track, Alina, a people person, and Pete, who actually wrote the book on people. Check out the link in the show notes. He actually did write the book on people, so check out and give him some kudos online. And I wanted to bring them together so that we could hear directly from the track hosts what the track is all about. But first, let me give it up to them for them to share with us who they are. Alina, let's start with you. One phrase, who are you and why are you hosting yet another online summit?
I love gardening and I love to create spaces where people can thrive, where people can learn, where people can come together. And this is why I'm here.
Absolutely. That's a great reason to host the people track, of course. How about you, Pete? One phrase. What should people know about you?
I got an early start as an actor and director and has been very much into understanding people. And that has been brought into my software and how I do this. And so it's been a part of everything I've done for probably about 30 years now, just because I enjoy understanding people and talking to people and letting people, express themselves.
And as an actor and director, you have to understand people at all kinds of levels. The people in front of you, the people who they intend to represent or whom you intend to represent, and so on. Now, you two are co-hosting the People Track. And before we get into all of the goodies, the details of the sessions, what's the story behind this track? Alina, tell us, why is it needed and why does it exist right now at this year's Global Agile Summit?
Well, the People Track is not new to the Global Agile Summit. We had it in the previous years. So we had it maybe in a combination with product, but people was there. And it has been part of the summit for the last few years. And this year, the sheer number of quality submissions we got told us that it's even clearer how relevant this topic still is. And especially in today's world where the only constant is change and we have unpredictability, we have uncertainty, we have the VUCA, right? People are at the core. It's more important to focus on people now. And every transformation still comes down to how people feel, how they communicate, how they work with each other, how decisions are made, and how leaders can create a space and condition for them to thrive.
Absolutely. And VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and the A is?
Ambiguity.
Ambiguity. There we go.
Yeah.
So check it out. VUCA is actually a whole thing. It could be a whole series of episodes. So we won't get into that, but the link is in the show notes if you want to investigate. And Pete, how about you? Why did you get interested in hosting this year's People Track at the Global Agile Summit?
I think we have been getting into, especially with like AI space, where there's been a lot more focus on technology and what makes AI most successful, as well as what makes product most successful and teams most successful and companies most successful, is really the people that are involved in it. People who are involved in creating it, the people who are involved in designing it and using it and selling it and marketing it. When we lose sight of the people around the product is when things start to suffer, which, like you said, is why I ended up having to write a book called Shift from Product to People to get people out of the product part of a thinking into thinking about the people part of the product design.
I like how you phrase that. Get people into the people part of the product design and development, of course. When you were reviewing the session submissions, what was one thing that surprised you? What patterns or themes, came out that you didn't expect? Peter, let's start with you.
I'll give you one sort of negative pattern and one positive pattern. So one negative pattern was one that we were kind of expecting, which is why we created the track. That a lot of the submissions that we got were talking about product as a thing instead of product as people, and the connection into that. But then there was this other set underneath of it that was completely right in, and they're like, I see myself in this track here because I also like talking about people too. And so that was like those two diversions in the field was something that really stood out for me.
Why do you think that is? Like, why is that divergence out there in the trenches, as it were?
I like to describe it this way, which is we all really do care about the people around us and about solving problems. But at some point, we pick a solution and a way to implement it. And getting the work done becomes such a high priority that we switch over to thinking about the things and the deliverables and the outcomes. And if we don't consciously leave space to go back and think about the people and the relationships, it's very easy to just get laser focused in on the things.
Almost like the task becomes the goal and the people become the objects.
Exactly. Yes.
Interesting. I wonder what kind of sessions you have with the antidote for that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So don't you all go anywhere. We're going to talk about that. Alina, how about you? What was one thing that surprised you when you were reviewing the submitted sessions this year, which, as you guys already have mentioned, there were a lot of sessions submitted to the People Track?
Indeed. I want to come with a different perspective here, because what stood out for me, it was that the different angles these sessions brought, the different perspectives of how do we look at people from the leadership perspective, from neurodiversity, from how do we measure if the employees are how worth they are for a company, and how do we take decisions. So I was really impressed for this diversity that we got in the topics.
Absolutely. And this diversity also speaks to the fact that we don't all experience the process we are part of the same way. And that's great. And that perspective, or those different perspectives are of course, a wealth in our community. So let's start with that diversity. Alina, what are two sessions, maybe three, if we're generous, that you're personally excited about? What are they, and what should people expect to hear?
I was impressed by the journey from Marcus Bullock, where he shares his story. Like it started in a very negative place, and he's now CEO. He's now empowering people. He is now leading a business, and it's so inspiring to just listen to it and think that I can also do it. We can also do it. We can give people a second chance. We can focus on what's good and increase the good rather than focus on what's bad and minimize the bad. So that's just one story that really stick out to me. And the energy he's bringing, I recommend, please go ahead and listen to it, to the talk. The second, I would say, is the usability theater, and I really loved how Pete and Michael they came up with this. How like take a product, give it to a customer, and don't say anything. Just let the customer try it. Let the customer experience the product. Just this thing that you need to from time to time to shut up and listen. It's very difficult because we want to say, hey, look what we did here. Look here. Look how great the product is, But we need to have the courage and to shut up, to listen to the customers and observe how do they interact. It's really marked my day because it's amazing. It's so simple. Just listen, And a third topic, I would say the discussions with Tara Scott about decision making. And this, it's so personal because in the companies that I worked so far, the decision process was so long, and resources have been wasted. Resources have been people left because decisions were not made. And to break this loop, Tara talks about how we empower people to take decisions. And that is something that touched me because I experienced that in my companies.
So I'm going to pass the ball to Pete because I know that Tara's topic is one that he's also particularly passionate about. And the topic was agency, breaking the permission loop, if I remember correctly, the name of the talk. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that is really interesting for me in that framing of the ideas that she's putting forth is the idea that agency needs to start also from the people. Of course, it is the organization and context that defines what's allowed and what's not allowed, right? Like if the organization doesn't allow you to think on your own, then you're always going to need that permission. But how do you frame that after having done the interview, Pete? What's your take? What's the balance between the need for the culture to enable that agency, but also the need for the people to build their own agency through concrete, specific actions?
Yeah, it's never easy in any stretch of the term. Tara talks, I don't give much away for the conversation. She expresses it much better than I could as a recap. But there is a necessity to sort of understand ourselves and have some of this confidence. But at the same time, that's true for everybody and everywhere around. And even our leaders, the same thing is applying to them. They are in a place, they have things they need to accomplish. They may be stuck in some permission loops with their own bosses. And we're all dealing with a lot of the same things. And being able to listen to each other, understand where each of us is coming from, and realize that if you could solve your thing in a vacuum, it's not going to come out the same way as if you have to solve it as a group or as a team or as an organization. And so there's a flexibility that goes into the crossovers between permission loops of all directions from all people that are part of that team and relationships.
And permission loop concept is really rich, and I invite you all to check out the talk. But if you can't check the talk out for some reason, Tara is doing a live Q&A, so make sure you check out the conference schedule and register for that live Q&A, because then you can ask your own questions. Pete, and how about you? What are the 1, 2, or maybe even 3, if we're feeling generous, talks that you want to highlight for us?
Yeah. Marcus is definitely high on that list, just because
that's the keynote, right?
Yes, he's the keynote. So yeah, Marcus Bullock, Flick Shop. I've known him for over 15 years, and he's got. I mean, it's just wonderful to see the arc of his story, and he expresses it well in here that he has a success story, but it's not all success, and the way that he approaches that in a people-first manner has helped him to weather many ups and downs. And there are still going to be more ups and downs. And that just like resonates, with myself, that resonates with, I think, a lot of people that are out there, is just that it's never going to be exactly right and perfect. So what do you do when things don't go as expected? So I think that's a really good message to just hear over and over again from multiple different perspectives. He does a really good job with that. So I'm also excited to have some more conversation about neurodiversity that we have with Anita, and because there's just many different fashions and portions of that. Plus, I'm kind of excited about every time I have a conversation with Jeff Patton, it just goes in all kinds of directions, and I have so much fun. So that is another one that I think people will enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of those will be live starting on May 5th. May 4th is a special day. It's the big party day, so make sure you check out the calendar. And it's on the website, globalagilesummit.com, and do register and show up for the party, where it's just us, the good old Agile friends getting together and enjoying a little bit of warm-up for the conference. Pete, let's continue with you. If you would kind of frame this as, there's a target audience, there's a special set of people that will benefit immensely from this track. Who is this track really for? What kind of person you think should be right now clicking register to attend the conference?
I think the obvious one is the people who don't feel like people right now. The ones who feel like they are being treated like a cog in the machine and are wondering what are practical things that we could do to actually change what's happening right now in my organization, to mix this around. So, and then the other part of that is anybody who is close to customers, who gets to work on the product side of things, just to be able to see other different ways that people pull awesome, amazing ideas out of direct communications, both with team members and with customers.
And how about you, Alina? Who would you say this track is really for?
I would say that it's for anyone who works with people, because the topics, they are universal. It's about trust, it's about leadership, it's inclusion, it's decision making, it's neurodiversity. So they are about human behavior. So that's valuable in any field where we work with people.
Isn't that beautiful? Whoever works with people, this is for you.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And I completely agree. And there will be live sessions, so make sure you check that out at the globalagilesummit.com website, where they are all listed. Alina, one last question for you regarding the track. If someone attends every session during this track, what is the one thing you think they will walk away with? What change do you think they will enact Monday after the summit?
Mm-hmm. I would say they will get a new lens or a new perspective and a better understanding of how human dynamics shape this diversity of culture, of performance, and the tips and tricks they get from every session, they can apply immediately the next day. They come with we have practical ideas. They can be implemented immediately. And I really loved, and I really want to say a big thank you to everyone who submitted to our track. We really appreciate that. And all the learnings that come out after listening to these tracks, they can be implemented immediately because they are real life stories. It's not theory. It's not something somebody read in a book. It's real life stories.
Yeah, first-person storytelling about real stuff that we need to deal with when, as you said, we need to work with people. And Pete, how about you? What is the one thing you think people will walk away with and enact the Monday after the summit?
I think Alina's use of the word lens is a really good one. And sometimes I kind of liken it to like putting on special glasses or like night vision goggles or it's like the show Ghosts, the TV show thing where like all of a sudden you're seeing things that you never saw before. And that's what I feel like it is when you get into the areas of like emotion and really working and like all of a sudden in the same location, you're seeing more dynamics than other people around you. So I think that's the thing that people can take away from the track and watching it is by listening to these things and it might open up their ability to see other dynamics in their workplace that maybe they currently aren't spending a lot of time paying attention to or didn't even realize were there. And maybe when they turn away from the screen and watching all of these videos, then they start looking at the people around them and they're like, oh, I see that. Oh, look, and there's that thing, and that's this thing. And they start realizing that they have more influence than maybe they think that they do just because they can now see more than they did previously.
Connect the dots, right? Like we see a lot of things happening, but it's kind of helping us to translate what is happening into things that we can put together and start connecting the dots. I really like how you phrase that. It is a lens, after all, as Alina mentioned. All right, we're getting close to the end, but before we go, where can people find out more about you and the work that you're doing? I'll start with Pete, but of course, before that, everybody check out globalagilesummit.com, where Pete and Alina's work is already described. It will go live on May 4th, but the list of talks is already there, as well as the live sessions for you to check out and click that register now button. Pete, let's start with you. Where can people find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
Great place to go up to shiftingpeople.com. You can find out more about the book that I wrote with Michael and the details there. You can also find me out on LinkedIn. If you look for Pete OK, that's my handle on LinkedIn. Good way to track me down.
Absolutely. We'll put the link to that also on the show notes. Make sure that people can easily find Pete and ask a few follow-up questions, of course. How about you, Alina? Where should people go if they want to know more about you and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, LinkedIn is the place. And the unique combination of a Romanian and Indian name makes me really, really easy to find on LinkedIn. I am curious to get in contact with anyone who has questions, who want to talk about any topic, including people, sustainability. I'm there to find on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. We'll put Alina's LinkedIn page on the show notes as well so that everybody can easily find it. Pete and Alina, thank you very much for being here with us and for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. Thank you for having us and for giving us a chance to talk about our wonderful speakers who are donating their time. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hi there, friends. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the episode. So let me tell you what's coming. On May 4th, we're running the Global Agile Summit. It will be online, and I want you there. This year, we have 4 tracks, and each one is built around real conversations with practitioners. No slides, no keynote theater, just honest interviews with people doing the work, just like you. The first track is AI in Organizations, where practitioners show what actually works. No hype, just AI that makes your Monday better. Happy Monday, everybody. And then we have the people track. Honest conversations about putting humans at the center of how we work and keeping them there. And third is Agile in construction. And yes, I really mean brick and mortar construction. Lean and Agile actual job sites. Field leaders removing waste, teams transforming how buildings get built. Stay tuned for what I think will be a super track on Agile in construction. And the fourth track is Agile in gaming, how game studios ship without burning out. Agile inside the creative pressure cooker. Over the years, we've had more than 12,000 participants since 2017, the time of the first summit organized with the podcast. And this year, we're making it easier than ever to join. You can register for free and get access to the summit sessions live during the event week. That's May 4th to May 6th. Or you can grab the practitioner pass and get immediate access to last year's keynotes from Jürgen Appelo, Gojko Adzic, and Mirete Kangas. Right now, even before the summit starts. So grab your practitioner pass and start learning today. Head on over to bit.ly/Global Agile 26. That's 26, the numerals 2 and 6. Sign up and I'll see you on May the 4th. And one more time, here we go, bit.ly/Global Agile 26. All lowercase, all one word, and 26, that's the numeral 2 and the numeral 6. I'll see you on the conference floor.